here interviewing Olga, who has been a very long-term client, but she has joined my 12-month health roadmap transformation and is a few months away from completing it. And so, with all your knowledge, Olga, because you've been in a few of my 21, you've seen a lot of iterations, 21-day programs, 10-day programs, 1-day programs, like whatever, I'm just teasing you. What made you first want to start working with me for a year? Like, why did you decide that a good year was going to be a good amount of time, or you needed longer?
I had a few health issues that I couldn't resolve um, fully. I used to do a 21 day and the 10-day liver programs, and I felt like I was getting good results. But after the program, I would just slip up. And for example, if I wanted to lose some weight, I would get amazing results, but then the weight would creep up, and I just felt like I completely didn't have control over my body and over all the symptoms and issues that I was getting. And I just wanted to get a consistent help, like hand holding, so that I could just have enough time to resolve all the issues and get all the knowledge to understand what was happening.
And Olga, you've segued nicely into so many questions that we can follow up on with the weight and then the why you got results during the 21-day liver detox. So, in terms of hand holding, do I make you do something that might be very annoying but is very useful in terms of a weekly data check-in of checking your data?
Yep. So we do the Friday reflection form
Yeah.
and the Monday data check-in.
And with
Yep.
the data check-in, what are we like? Are you measuring your own body? What are you looking at, or what am I looking
Uh,
at on your behalf?
yep. So I measure um, the data points on my body that I want to keep track of, whether I'm expanding or actually losing centimeters. I measure my weight and I check my pulse difference for the inflammation.
And obviously, like, I'm not there to use those check-ins to in any way make you feel bad, tell you off. It's not about that. But after consistently doing this for like week after months after months after months, and you didn't have a lot of weight to lose. Like we're only talking a couple of kilos there or here or there when it goes up or when it goes down. And obviously you could lose it in the 21-day liver programs. So are there any insights or highlights that have really come up that fascinated you that you wouldn't have learned if you weren't measuring your data weekly?
Yeah, for sure. Where do I even begin? It helped me see a lot of patterns around let's begin with like different food behaviors, whether I would eat something very inflammatory, something very fatty, or not a healthy food. You could see like the weight fluctuation would be pretty insane. And seeing when I would be supporting my liver, eating well, supporting my digestion, I could see my weight going down. And the fluctuations were pretty insane. It can be easily plus minus 1 or 2 kgs within a day.
It
Um,
was so insane, Olga.
yep,
Like so
yep,
insane in a good way.
yep. And what else? The patterns around the period, for sure.
Oh, I loved this for you.
Yeah, it gave me a huge insight on what happens to my body throughout the month and how there is a very clear pattern of me gaining weight before the period and then slowly shedding it and then just repeating the process over and over again.
And for somebody that would measure their weight, like one of the things was that you wanted tools and help to shift your weight. Have you found this like, have you found it useful and empowering as well as frustrating at times as well? Like, has it been fascinating for you to see the impact on
It's
something like your period with your weight, opposed to you beating yourself up for a week going, why is my weight like previously you wouldn't have known why or expected it to go up. So has it been useful?
It's definitely been useful. It's definitely been also frustrating at times when I couldn't connect the dots and couldn't understand the reason behind it. I think once you know why it's happening, you feel more in control
Yes.
because once you know the root cause, you already have the tools to deal with that. So you know it's not permanent, and you know that I think you just very calm about that, because you know you didn't suddenly gain 2 kilograms of fat overnight, and then you think that you need to do something super drastic, starve, and, or I don't know, go on a 40,000 step hike to lose those 2 kgs. You know, it's a water retention. You know, for example, you ate something bad, so that affected your liver. So, like, you already know what you need to do to just shift the weight, and it's like nothing permanent.
And was there a certain body part that you were always like, why? You don't have to tell us what it is if you don't want to. Where you were like, why does this part not shift in terms of, because we obviously do your measurements looking at your lymphatic system. So I've picked areas that we check in lymphatic systems for our drainage and our detox, one of our detox pathways. Was there a certain, you don't have to tell us the part if you don't want to, but is there a certain body part where you were like, why does this what size never shift? And have you learned that it can and it does?
Yep. So, well, there are actually two. So there is a very clear pattern with my chest where I would get like a few centimeters in. I would gain a few centimeters, maybe around like a week or like 5 days before the period, and then it would slowly go down to my normal size. And it was just like a very clear monthly pattern. But I also couldn't shift like any centimeters of my belly, and that was due to multiple reasons: liver, cortisol, estrogen.
100%. Okay. And so, Olga, now what are you doing? Have you got weight? Like, have you seen concrete reasons for weight loss? Like, have you been able to get weight loss with your diet?
Yes, yes, I'm slowly getting there.
And what is the focus for your weight loss? Like, as in, oh, sorry, what tools or like what organ have we had to support to help you get that weight loss?
For me, it's mainly two things: it's liver and lymph.
Yeah, 100%. And it narrows it down, right? And so, Olga, that's why I was laughing because you set this conversation up so well for us. Because you're like, every time I do a liver detox with Shelly, and I was like, she said liver. She didn't say thyroid. She didn't say adrenals. She said liver. And so it's so funny that you were always drawn all these years. And I agree, Olga, you didn't always do all my other programs. Like some of them didn't exist, I know that. But every time a liver detox was on offer, I might not have seen you for like a year and poof, Olga's back. She's like, I'm like, hi Olga, she's back. Like, because you like, it's so interesting. And I'm only laughing about it because it's like intuitively, you've always been drawn to the liver programs. And you'd always say to me, I have such great success on the liver programs. And you'd always lose weight. And then you'd be back again because you'd gain the weight in between times. But partly because you didn't have all the liver, like on a 20-day program, obviously you don't learn everything as comprehensive as what you've learned over this past year. So you never had all those extra tools to actually be able to continue it on. And plus, it's like 3 weeks of data means nothing in comparison to like 8, 10, 12 months worth. So it just makes me laugh that you did get amazing results, but the tools didn't necessarily continue on because you didn't know why, or you wouldn't have necessarily, like all clients, valued doing those tools because there wasn't enough evidence yet.
Yep, yep, for sure. I definitely wouldn't have had the patterns, wouldn't have noticed the correlation, and like wouldn't have connected the root causes and the causation. But also, I think with the last year, just doing it week in, week out, kind of builds the habits,
It
and then
does.
just you kind of stack this slowly, add one thing at a time, and you slowly figure things out, and you know what to leave, what to kind of maybe have as an optional, but like you kind of figure
You
out
dial
what's
in your
mandatory.
magic
Yeah,
formula,
yeah,
right? And it
yep,
goes back, and I know you like, you've heard me say this so many times, you can roll your eyes where I go on about health being hard to get. And I 100% stand by that. Like, I will die on a hill on that because I really do believe that. But I also think, and you're living proof of this now, health is so easy to maintain because even when you've gone through, like, easy as in terms of understand, Olga's looking at me like, hang on a sec, but like easy in terms of the understanding and the empowerment. Because even Olga, in the last few weeks, with other things you've had going on with your health, with your oral health, you've been able to be like, hey, my weight's gone up, but that makes sense because I'm inflamed with my teeth and these other things. Like those tools, like in the past 5 years ago, you would have come off a liver detox, a 21 liver detox program, had a tooth problem, and then be like, I don't know. Like, and that's the honest truth. But that will never happen to you again because you can match your data. And then Olga, another thing, because we both love numbers, and I love a good number. Have you really found that you've and oh, I've seen this in you, but I'll ask you as well. You've really been able to really take control and ownership and empowerment with your blood work?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Like all the master classes, all the calls that we had when we went through all of our numbers and being able to understand the areas of problems, and then work towards them, like filling out the nutrient deficiencies. Or like I had issues with my thyroid numbers, and that was like one of the reasons why the weight wasn't shifting as well, or was harder to shift. So yeah, like my thyroid numbers are so much better now.
I know. Oh, like, and even that, like, from, seeing me for a one-off appointment and me telling you supplements to take for your blood work, opposed to you now being able to read all the patterns and go, hey, the thyroid's off, so of course my metabolism's going to be off, so I need to look at this. Like, it's just so empowering, right? It's the gift forever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the gift of knowledge for sure.
And also you seeing everyone else, like this is what I love about seeing how far you've come, Olga, is when other people upload their blood work into the group and you get that opportunity to look at other people's blood work because then you're reinforcing the learning and you get to be like me and look at theirs and be like, hey, she's low in this and this and this. But it helps you go, oh yeah, I do know what I'm doing, or no, actually I need to ask extra questions because I don't fully understand how this lab works because you get exposed to so many people's all the time, which is
Yeah, yeah. It's very fascinating because some people do some unusual blood works, which we usually don't get to see, so we don't know what the normal ranges are and what it means and what can cause the low or high numbers.
And then, Olga, with doing your Dutch test for your
Mhm.
hormones, did that really help piece together a lot of that understanding around weight and your hormonal piece and
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, I think that was the first time I got a glimpse into the issues with my lymph or my liver and the root cause for that, because it was quite visible on the graphs and on the numbers that I had issues with the methylation pathway in the liver, which suggested that I probably had MTHFR gene mutation, which of course I was like, I need to go and get tested for that because just like showing it to me, I want to see the exact test that would show whether I have the mutation or not, and if I do, what kind, because that also means you get to see how badly your liver function is affected, whether it's only affected by 20% or 40%, because that's a very different amount of effort you need to put into your health.
Absolutely. And Olga, even your understanding of that now, 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been telling me that. You would have just been like, what do you mean I have to put in different effort based? Like, and all of these pieces are like, because, and I'll talk for me for a second. I've got the MTHFR gene, so I do have to put in more effort than somebody else in our group, for example, or a friend, because I've got that mutation. So, of course, my body can't, like, it just makes sense when we're empowered opposed to when we're not empowered and it's like, why can't I lose weight? Or why do my breasts increase? Like, why does when I get my period impact me so much more than another friend? But of course, the hormones are going to impact you because you've got that gene. Olga, is there anything that's really surprised you in the last year that you've learned about your health?
Um, well, lots of things. I think my thyroid being pretty bad was the first surprise because I
Why did
guess
that surprise you?
I haven't thought of that and any symptoms that I had. Again, I think it's like a broken record, but I just thought it was normal.
No, but
It's
it's a good broken record, Olga. And do you mean your test results you thought were normal or your symptoms that you now know are thyroid
my
related?
symptoms because I've never really tested for it because I didn't think I had issues with that. But yeah, my T3 and T4 were very low, and my yeah.
And so,
Uh,
other than metabolism, which thyroid impacts, have you noticed like your brain health improve or your energy levels improve? Like, have you noticed improvements in your body through helping your thyroid?
For sure. Well, hard to tell because I've been addressing a lot of issues at the same time, so hard to tell what exactly impacted how I feel now, but my energy has been great and I've
Olga,
been
you just have to pause on that one for 1 second because once again, I just have to pull you off on this. I can with Olga. Oh, you also though, hence why I'm laughing that you chose. I didn't preempt and tell you what to say at the beginning. You picked the liver programs. Olga probably would never have signed up for a 10-day energy program pre this, right? Like you would have been like, my energy's great. Like, why am I signing? Like, I'll take the liver, but I'm not doing an energy program with her because I literally remember a few months into the program where you were like 85 plus. What is this adrenal support? And do I need it? Like, is this going to change my life? And then a few days later, taking it, being like, it's changed my life. I've got energy. And I didn't even. But Olga, another point on that, which I know we both sound like we're repeating the same thing, where you've accepted symptoms, you didn't even realize you had poor energy until you felt good energy. And then you were like, what have I been doing this whole time?
exactly. I think it's just, especially if it's whole your life, you have nothing else to compare, or when it's like gradually weaning off, I guess it's hard to notice when your energy is already not as good as it used to be, but you definitely notice when it gets back.
It's 100% right. Oh, like 100%. And then what's your favorite part of the program?
Whew. Oh, I don't know. How would I rank it? I really like the community. I feel like I get to learn so much through people, and I guess I learn so much through people's questions because sometimes they ask a question and then I'm like, again like, I thought that was normal, but now that we're talking about it, that is not. That's like that probably has challenged my thinking or acceptance of what is normal or not a lot. And that was great, just learning through people, and yeah, them asking the questions I would have never thought to ask. I have learned so much through that.
And
um
Olga, do you know, as a practitioner, I would say, like, after, working with people for a decade, that, like, it's the very thing that people don't want. I understand that. Like, everyone goes, I want to work one on one. I don't want to do a group program. But because in my world and with the clients that I'm working with, a lot of clients are accepting symptoms. They don't know it's not normal. So they don't know to tell me, don't know to ask. And if they're not telling me, then I'm not getting to the root causes of all their symptoms because I don't know, like, like it's a slower process. And what I found is it's so much speedier with a group because, like you're learning from other people's questions. Like, you get to go in and listen whenever you want and consume the information when it suits you. But it also goes like the amount of people we see in the group where they're like, oh, that's me too. Oh, that's me too. I didn't even know that was an issue. And so you just learn so much quicker. Or even for me as a practitioner, like it was always really hard in the old way of working. This is why I didn't like it for me and how I like to work with clients was it's like you have a 15-minute appointment or whatever the appointment is, it could be 10 minutes. It wouldn't make a difference in terms of what I'm trying to achieve for clients. And it's like, okay, I go through your blood work, but I want to actually, like, the other week we had a 2-hour call on heavy metals. Well, I can't do that on a one-on-one appointment when I'm also trying to give you your protocol, get you a result in the session, and then educate you and have the time to actually educate you. If you know what, like, and even if, I made the appointment like as long as possible, it's just not practical because people won't come for long appointments. I get that. But it's like the level of like, don't you like the level of what you get to learn, consume, become aware of it. It's like so much. Like, it's just, I don't know what the right word for it is. It's just that greater understanding for life and health for life.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I guess the fact that we get to ask you questions throughout the week, that I just feel supported throughout the week. If I get my protocol set for the week, and if I have any questions, symptoms, or something else pops up, I can always ask you and just get like very quick feedback.
Yes, and Olga, I love that as well because once again, it would have been very annoying for clients, but also for me as a practitioner. In the old way, it might be 3, 4, 5, whatever your appointment, whatever, it doesn't really matter in terms of the events of how long each practitioner works for the client. But if you get like something comes up where your weights come up, like in the old way of working in my one-on-one appointments, we would never have worked out your breast, like the change with the weight, with the period. But because, we couldn't have gone through all of that in one appointment, but because we're tracking, like you say, your data plus your protocol, and I'd be looking at your protocol being like, the protocol shouldn't be doing, like, making her put on weight. That doesn't make sense. And always, there's so many times, how many times have I said to you, Olga, where are you with your period? Because I'll sit there trying to like piece it all together, and then I'm like, it'll be the period. It's the period. I know it's the period, and she's going to tell me. But it's just like having that level of detail and having a health practitioner over your health in a loving way. Like when life gets rough or whatever, it's not like I'm telling you off or anything, but you just get those eyes to really understand your body and get really empowered, eh?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Olga, any other like favorite things that you want to share?
Um, what else can I share?
What about the portal? Do you like the portal?
I like it. It's overwhelming. There is too much information there.
I love that, Olga. That was so fun. It's so honest. And like there is a lot of information there. I 100% agree. But actually, you've touched on a perfect point. You have had, because different people, right? Different people learn different ways, which is awesome. I'm going to read between the lines and say that, and Olga can correct me if I'm wrong. Olga's been on the portal. She does have a good understanding of the admin logistics. Like if there's an administration piece, Olga's all over that on the portal. She knows if it's there or not there. Um, but probably fair to say you could do more in the portal if you chose to, but clearly you're getting amazing results without getting into all the details of the portal. Would that be fair?
Yeah, but I do try, like for example, on the weeks when we don't have the call, I usually try and spend time on the portal and catch up on the new videos that you uploaded, and the new information. If there were any calls that I missed, and sometimes I re-watch the previous calls because there is just so much information, and you think you understood it and you learned it, but then maybe a month passes and you're like, oh, what was that again?
And
And
also,
then,
I'll touch on this whether you listen to all the other education on the portal. One really cool thing I love, and I've witnessed it again and again, is as your health improves throughout the year, when you go back, and this is why I do love having the portal for the training calls. As you go back and you're in a new space with your health, but you listen to an old call, you hear it with new ears and
oh
new
yes,
looking,
yes.
right? That's the part I love because it's like you have these training calls, but you can read because all of our calls are quite different every week. So when you've got new symptoms or you're at a new stage of your health, when you go back and listen to an old one, it's like all new information, but you actually heard it and understood it for where you were. That
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is true. I think I've done it multiple times because I think you watch the video, listen to the audio with like trying to find certain information that relevant to you, and like certain bits will be relevant to you at a certain point in time, and you might not be ready for the other bit, and then yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think is the real gold. And that's the cool thing about a group program once again, because that's why you get gold. Because even on that group program, when I'm coaching everybody with their symptoms and their protocols, it's like all of a sudden you're like blah 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 on that call, but you weren't like her when you first listened to it. And so now it's like, oh, that's relevant to me now. I'll take all those gems of Shelley telling whoever the client is. And you're like, yeah, I'll take that. That's perfect. And then one more thing, I promise. What about the voice prints? Do you like the voice
Oh my
prints?
god.
I love the voice prints.
I love and hate them. um the last several were telling on me, which was very annoying.
That's why I love the voice prints. It does the work for me.
It was I think the 2 rounds ago, it was I literally, it was the first time in years that I used the hand sanitizer at the gym, like ever. And that popped up in the voice print. Haven't used it since. And the other time was lack of protein. It was literally the week where I
You run
couldn't
out of
get enough
Nutriclear.
protein. Yeah, it was. I couldn't believe it.
But for you though, even though it's annoying because it tells on you, is it like phenomenal the the accountability and the precision? Like
Yep.
you can't get away with anything, right? Like, and also it's pretty, I'll tell you this, whether Olga tells you not, it's pretty motivating because I promise you straight after that call, Olga was on the website ordering exactly what she needed. But it's even more motivating than me telling you something, right? Like it's like, oh, even the machine on Zoom got me. Hey, like it's like literally, but also I think once again, listening to everyone else's, it's so insightful.
It's very educational because every time something new comes up, we talk about it, the root causes, how to fix it. It's very, very insightful.
I totally, totally agree with you. Olga, thank you so much for sharing your experience.
No, it was a
And I've
pleasure.
loved
Thank you.
reflecting on it with you actually as well, like hearing some of these key points and it's so like amazing watching you grow over a year, how empowered and educated you are, how like assertive you are now for your health and making sure that you're not just going to accept things. Like I think that's a really amazing gift that has been installed in you from this program and watching other people be assertive as well. I think that's also a part of the program too, where it's like, well, they stood up to that, but like, so I'm going to get those results. So I think that's like watching that, but also Olga, just watching like you've gone from like, I don't know how to look after my health to very much being like, I 100% know how to take control of this. I know why this is happening to me. I might not want to know why this is happening to me, but I know if I want to fix it, I know how to fix it. If I want to like wallow in the week of not looking after my liver or my lymph, that's like, like, and also accepting and going, you know what, life is busy. And sometimes I can't do all my lymph work before my period, and that's fine because I can do it afterwards and my weight will come back down because I am in control. I've got tools to control it.
I would definitely say that I definitely feel way less guilt towards myself.
I would say that too.
Yeah, I
You're not
definitely
so
feel,
hard on yourself
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, definitely feel way more at peace with myself. And I think another like little, I should have answered that as one of your previous questions. Um, just like how inspirational watching other people get their health sorted and see how much they improve. That's really uplifting. And if you're stuck and struggling with something, but you're saying that that worked for another person, you know that it will work for you. You just need to stick to it a little bit longer.
Olga, I also should have said that because I agree with you. I think the group, yes, we're allowed to go through our hard times as a like as we do. It's life, like life's busy and stressful and work and things happen. But as a group, it's such a positive, embracing, like supportive. Like when you're down, we're all down. Like that actually cares. Like such a caring, heartfelt group, but also very inspirational because we all know we've got things. Like all of us have health challenges. That's why we're all there. And we all have bad days. So watching somebody else have a good day when you're having a bad day and seeing their results, you're like, okay, she got there. And also the other thing that I love about the group, which maybe is not a selling point in terms of what I'm sharing this, but it's not just she randomly got there like with weight or whatever. It's like, actually, no, I watched her take her methylfolate. I watched her eat her bitter greens. Like I watched her implement all of those things Shelly said to me. Because sometimes in the real, like outside of our little bubble, it can be like our friends down the road just lost weight, and it's like, well, that doesn't really help me. Like, and they just lost it. But in the group, you're like, okay, so she worked on her liver, and this person worked on their thyroid, and this person worked on their estrogen, and then they got there. Because that is actually life with our health. Like, none of us are just losing weight. Equally, if you just put on weight overnight, which does really happen in the group, it's often food inflammation. Right, you know, and so seeing that and being able to track that and being able to delve into it, where it's like, no, the weight didn't just happen to me. There is a reason, like you said right at the beginning, you put on 2 kilos in a day, you know, and so having all of that, and also, like, I'll just say one more thing on the weight thing, like watching somebody else with a medical treatment put on weight is also an eye opener because then you go, oh, I might not have thought of that before when I'm having a surgery. Oh, that's probably going to apply to me, you know, and so you just get so many tools outside of just what you're living when you sign up for the program, right? Like it just helps you think, yeah, I know we could talk about it forever because I just love it so much, Olga, and I love your brain in terms of just the analytical part of your brain, the numbers, how you do it. Like, yeah. So thank you so much, Olga. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thanks, Shelley.